now watching two old farts making noises.
We are back.
We are back.
Morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
good
How are you
afternoon.
doing?
Good afternoon
Good, how are you?
and good evening. So,
Yeah.
Wherever you are in the world, so we are in a good position to be talking and speaking to people who have different kind of hours during the day. Somewhere there must be night in the middle of the night.
Well, yeah, I guess over in Asia, we're getting into the nighttime and whatnot.
Maybe they're watching in some other planet.
Oh, well, in that case, I don't know those languages, but welcome to the show.
They have the AIs, which yes, yeah. You think Google is there also? Maybe Google is alien.
Everywhere.
Google's everywhere. That's true. Google's
maybe
everywhere.
it originates from a different planet, maybe different galaxy.
Maybe, you never know. So, but this is
but we will be talking about this stuff today because we will be talking about the drop I'm having tomorrow on Maker's Place.
Very nice.
An NFT drop. NFT drop means actually that there'll be 3 artworks that will drop, that will start, for auction to the public, so people can buy it for 24 hours. And the artworks are. This is the second drop of the series. We had already one, and there'll be a third one, and maybe in the future there'll be more. But it's called Quantum X Theory.
Okay.
So that's why I say that we'll be talking a little about this, because we'll be talking about things like quantum entanglement, the superpositions, and quantum field theory, which is my passion. Okay.
Yes, I know. This show is going to be all about quantum.
Well, in a way, everything is about
AI.
quantum.
And AI.
And AI, of course, because I did pose the question before we went live to Adam and to Stephen and said, well, is love an artificial intelligence?
That's true.
Well, and we didn't speak much about it, but I said that is it intelligent?
Yes.
It doesn't seem to be intelligent because intelligence is a cognition, right? It's the metacognition. It's the
well, that would be maybe.
Logic.
Well, is it artificial craziness then?
It's emotion.
Yes.
So it falls. Okay. It falls to what I believe into the realm of mentality. Mental. Love is a mental thing, like everything else. Even logic is mental thing. It's a product of mental. And
well, I know being in love can turn you totally mental. That's for sure.
Yes, and for sure it doesn't have logic. It doesn't have intelligence, because you cannot say 1 and 1 is means equalizes 2 in love. Right. It can be 3 when you have children, 4.
Right. Or if you're in a polyamorous relationship, it could be 5 or 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Which we talked about that on, I think, Social Intercourse on that show. And I was just like, I don't get that. Like, I mean, like I could never, being a male, to have one wife or one girlfriend is enough. But to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of them, are you kidding? I'd go nuts. I'd be like, there's no way.
Well, practically there is a problem, but you divide yourself into many pieces, so that means that you are never totally yourself with those persons that I believe so.
Yeah. So what about you, Adam? Could you have lots of different wives? Would that fit into your?
No. I couldn't. I believe no, because something. I think that relationships, especially the romantic ones, which I have been, portraying and depicting in my works for a long time. Right. It's a theme that for me has a very big depth, because those kind of relationships for me are the more complicated, because you play many roles. Sometimes you are, for example, I'm a man. I love women. For example, let's take this example. Sometimes my girlfriend is kind of mother to me. Sometimes I'm kind of father to her. Sometimes we are kind of brothers, sisters, and it's not that it's always like this, but sometimes the roles, they change. And what I would say that about this relationship, that the deeper you go to this kind of relationship, because the person you're living with and you're sharing your everyday life, which is the most difficult part, because the everyday life is full of not always good stuff, and sometimes problems, issues, money issues, psychological problems. You cannot hide from your partner, actually, if you have an honest relationship, right? You cannot hide. So you are exposed to somebody else, and the other person is exposed to you. So they act like a mirror in a way. So in this kind of relationship, you get to know the human nature, your nature, but also in general the human nature. I believe this is our best way to get to know the human nature,
But
because
it's
we
also
humans, because we know ourselves. First of all, I don't think that we know ourselves.
right.
What to
But we
know?
also grow. But you grow as a person, I
We
think, when you're in a
change all the
relationship,
time. There is no static. This is a dynamic universe that we live. We change all the time.
But I think you also grow as a person, right? Because you learn from the other person and you take away things from that person. So when you're in a relationship, I think you just grow, which I think is very cool. I think that's the biggest part about being in a relationship.
If you're in a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, an honest one, and
yeah.
I think
And of course, love for me is like the ultimate honesty.
That's
just
a very
kind
nice. That's a very nice definition. First time I hear this, and it's I really like this definition. It's one of the definitions, or rather one part of the definition, but it's really, really nice.
Well, I hope that inspires you to make a beautiful piece of art.
There you go.
I will. You'll see. I will.
You're gonna call it
the ultimate honesty.
David's love, the ultimate honesty, and it'll be you, David, naked on a bearskin rug with a fireplace behind you and a fedora covering your private area. That's the ultimate.
That's a scenario for a porn movie. What are erotic?
No, it's one of Stephen's ultimate dreams. It would appear.
Yeah, we're gonna actually one day we're gonna get a painting done like that and auction it off just because I think it'll be fun.
What is your dreams, Stephen?
That's the joke. Every time we have an artist on art or Canadian art, I'm like, can you draw David on a bearskin rug, naked, with a fedora covering his private areas, with a fireplace behind them? And they're all like, what? Like, that's it. We have that. The fans want that. We want to give the fans.
I don't know, Adam, if he's trying to embarrass the artist or he's given up in trying to embarrass me.
I don't think that anyone is offended. I think it's a nice fantasy.
There you go.
Yeah.
I would hang that somewhere. I mean, not where people could see it, but I would.
I would watch it on a movie. I don't have a problem. If it's a part of a movie, I would watch it.
I've got a funny feeling that it'll probably end up in somebody's bathroom somewhere.
That would be. But what an honor to be in someone's bathroom.
Yeah, because every time somebody went to the toilet, that'd be like me.
Yeah.
It would solve all the constipational problems, I think.
That's too funny.
But to come back to the discussion about love, I will take because I love metaphors. I think that the language of the universe is metaphor, and also the language of the religions is metaphor. And this is the problem that especially the West has made with the Christianity, etc. They take literally the scripts and everything, and they try to follow because it's written in the script. But those are metaphors. Same are the metaphors with the other religions, like the 12 gods in the ancient Greeks. There was no Zeus, flying around and making love to girls.
He was. I went on that tour. They took me up there on a bus.
I live in his island where he was born. I was recently in the cave where he was brought. So.
Where he was born. There you go. No,
but see here now we're getting into UFOs and aliens. So
no, we're not. We're talking about Greek gods, Stephen.
Same thing. So here's the interesting thing. We don't know that they didn't, because if you look at the Indian Vajrayana book, which talks about flying temples and whatever, and they show the pictures, and you read history throughout the years, there's always been gods with an S. And then in like 100 CE, they would be like, we need to have just one God because of Jesus came along, right? But everybody had gods until then, and everybody's creation story, for lack of a better term, whether you go back 50,000 years or 50 million, they had gods came and did it. So I'm thinking there's some truth to the gods with the S, whether they were, aliens or whether they're from another dimension. I think that could be very true. And I think we've just lost sight of that history as we become whatever we are today. So I don't know when we say Zeus and Hercules, like I'm reading a book called The World, and they talk about the Herculeans, and this one came from this and a lineage of it. So it's fascinating. So I'm not sure. I'm still out on
But
that.
how,
With all
but
the
how did but how did they get here?
well, they would have to come by the technology that we get captured now on YouTube, all those UFOs, all that bending of space and time or dimensions.
Do you believe that they have come here? That
Yes.
there were aliens here?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because that they were depicted on those.
I've been studying this since I'm like 6 years old, right? So,
What is
which
the evidence that persuades you the most about
uh,
this?
I think a lot of it is when you read texts or artwork from like just say from 15th century back. Like you have a picture of that the Vatican has of the Mother Mary and a UFO in the background, right? You have reports of aliens. You have reports of this. You have drawings. You have um, scriptures, for lack of a better term, written. And now you have videos of stuff that you can't deny. You have astronauts like Edgar Mitchell telling you that I saw alien spacecraft on the moon, wrote a book about it. You've got guys that worked at nuclear facilities for the governments where they, had the ICBM missiles that
But
they said,
it's a theme. Sorry to interrupt, but it's a
no,
theme that sells. So you have to be cautious about it. It's
I am, but
people do anything to sell.
yeah,
Human nature.
but I am to a point, but to another point, in 1954, there were 5 or 7 flying discs that came to the White House and flew around, and jets would try to get them, and they couldn't catch them. They would just disappear, right? And it's on they have it on film and whatnot. In 1976, there was a Japanese airliner that was flying from Alaska to
Maybe it
Japan.
was Russians.
I don't think they have that technology. And there was a Japanese airliner that flew from Alaska to Japan, and the FAA's got the video of this thing like the size of like the Twin Towers doing maneuvers that are impossible. And the Japanese airline pilots telling you there's this thing, and it followed them for hundreds of miles. So I think there's too much evidence. A gentleman that I know works for an agency that doesn't exist once told me, he said, the biggest fear that the governments have globally is if we ever tell the public that they're real. He said, and I say to you, what are you? You're from Greece, you're from the UK, I'm a US. But once you find out whether they're interdimensional or they're from other galaxies or worlds and they've been in space and time, you're no longer a citizen of that country, you become an earthling. When you become an earthling, government, churches, and whatnot then lose the power to control you because now you realize there's a bigger and larger purpose to what's going on in the universe, if you will. And I think that scares a lot of people. And now I think people don't care because with the cameras, they're catching stuff left and right.
Yeah, but I still think it's I mean, I'm not poo-pooing it.
Okay.
In fact, I'm quite on the fence about it all. I mean, the physics doesn't add up. So, but
technically it would.
But
You don't believe?
Well, nothing that we understand as physics would enable alien spacecrafts to come here.
Yeah, that's my problem.
So nothing as we know as physics. Okay.
Right.
Yes.
And the other thing is, I think there's also this deep-seated feeling that when you stand out and look at the night sky,
Right.
that you just kind of feel, oh, it would be nice if I'm not alone in those lonely moments in your life. And I think
but it's crazy, because we are looking for aliens looking, in the sky, if we are alone or not. And there are 8 billion people around us and we're feeling alone, here. It's, what's the problem with this? It's that we are feeling alone by default in our bodies.
Right.
No one really understands us because no one really has this unique point of view that we have. This is the thing with life and with existence. You are unique. We are all unique. And the price for it is that we are alone. And hence the fear that are we alone, etc., etc., you know. But even if we find them there, you know,
Right.
we have the problem, we humans, at this present moment, because as we started everything, that we are changing, growing, etc. We are a project in time. We are
Right.
under development. In 100 years, we will not be the same, especially with the coming of the AI, if we exist. Okay.
Right.
My problem with it's what David says with the aliens is
Mhm.
the space is vast. We cannot believe how, we won't believe if we understand how big it is.
Right.
And the fastest speed that we have is the light speed. Light speed means that the closest other solar system from us is about 4.3 light years. So if you travel with the speed of light, which is impossible, because if you realize the experience of traveling, then everything is timeless.
Right.
From the
But
perspective of light, there is no time.
right.
It's everywhere at the same time, you know. I
Right.
was watching a documentary about light, and it's the universe is so big, like somebody or something didn't want us to meet if there are others like
Right.
us. But I don't think that if there are others like that, we anthropomorphize things. This is our
Right.
problem also. We make the gods, like we were saying before, we make the gods like us. Like
Right.
a Christian God is a big bird, you know, older guy, don't do this, like a
Right.
judge, right? Like a patriarch judge. Because
Right.
it was invented, let's say, and it was the uh, everything was written about the morals and the ethics at that time,
Right.
like 2000 years ago, right? And even older. And but one other thing I wanted to add to what you were saying: not all religions have gods. Buddhism
Right.
doesn't have god.
No, because
They have a
Buddha was a
state.
guy. Right.
Yes, and probably there are others, because there are many religions
Yeah.
in this world. There are some small, you know, tribal religions.
Right.
We don't know. So my problem with alien is that if they have come here, that means that they cannot have the state of physicality, what we mean physicality, the same that we have. They are, I don't know, kind of a light creatures. I don't
But
know.
here's
So,
where I
so
have
so how can we interact? You know?
well, no, here's how I've something. I don't look at the sky and go, I have a feeling of I'm lonely. I'm an introvert anyway, so I don't really care. But I'm fascinated by the technology that they discuss, like you can bend space and time. The other thing to answer your question, Bob Lazar, who's a famous UFO guy back in the 80s, told everybody there's this thing called element 115. And that's the element that takes if you will, a spacecraft that helps it bend space and time and does all this other thing. And so 5 or 6 years ago, two Russian scientists said, "Oh, we've discovered element 115." So there's too much. And then the Tic Tac videos that came out a few years ago, where the Tic Tacs go from 80,000 feet to like the ocean in a second. That's only because of the way you can have space and time within the capsule. So I think there's a lot there. So I'm just waiting for the day, and now with all the video phones, where literally one just lands in Times Square, and people are like, "Oh, okay." And I think the difference between the 40s, 50s, and 60s, when there were sightings and we never talked about it, is today. I don't think people care. I really think if you land, an alien came out tomorrow and go, "Hello, we're the lizard people, or we're this people, we come from this planet. I think people would be like, they'd be like this. Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh, look, there's an alien. Okay, and they'd be on their phone and nobody would
No,
care.
no.
I
Have
no,
you
you
have
know
you
why?
watched the movie? Have you watched the movie Arrival?
Yes,
That was interesting because the film was about the communication
right.
that we
With
have
the
today,
alien,
because the girl was I don't know, she was a specialist in communication. I
right.
think that's why they brought her.
Well,
So that will be a big problem about communication, because if they are very advanced, how we can understand them? We
well,
are not so advanced.
anybody who's encountered one says it's almost like mental telepathy. Like they talk, they don't move their lips. It's all done through your mind.
Telepathy.
I find that interesting.
That
It's also
sounds
interesting.
like the ultimate relationship, though, doesn't it?
I know, right?
Yeah,
also,
maybe we should go to, because in one work, which is the
right.
quantum
Oh,
intimacy,
let's look at the quantum intimacy. Let's look at the work.
Yeah.
quantum intimacy theory. No, let's take him by how David will choose it. Doesn't matter.
Well, I'm
I
not
was
sure. I've got three, and I've just numbered them 1, 2, and 3 from how you sent me. So I'm not sure what they're called, Adam. But what I'd like
I
to
will say.
do,
Don't worry.
everybody, is that we'll play the first one. It's about 25, 26 seconds clip. We'll come back to Adam for some
Okay.
little bit of background information, and then we'll run it again so everybody has another chance. So this is the first one. I called it Adam 1. So here we go.
Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is.
So we have the right name for this, then, Adam. This one.
This is called quantum ignorance theory.
Okay.
This work.
Okay.
It is quite evident. First of all, I will have to say a few words about the project in general. So this project is kind of a dialogue between science and art. So I try to combine those two fields because I love science, I love philosophy. I think that my work is philosophical. After all, in my life, I believe there is a triangle, and in general, I think humans kind of obey to this kind of triangle, which is philosophy, art, and philosophy, art, and science. I think with these three, with those three like principles, we can include everything there. I don't know if not, but I believe so. So this dialogue, I tried, quantum field theory, first of all, is a theoretical framework of physics that combines quantum mechanics, which is the study of the very small, the particles, the very, very small, the smallest. So we can understand how they behave, the particles, and with a special relativity of Einstein, which is about space and time. And actually, special relativity is the one that combines space and time as a space-time. So in a way, it's the physicality as we know it. But quantum mechanics is not the physicality that we know, but it exists. It's all the experiments that we do. They are trying to be accurate, very accurate. It's probably the most precise theory that we have, and there are things we have talked in other episodes also, but maybe there are people who were watching first time. There are things which are really crazy that happening there in quantum mechanics, and quantum field is a theoretical framework that the underlying reality, the fundamental thing that exists, are some quantum fields, and from the excitations of those fields, everything pops up. Like you, me, and everything. Like from the small particles. And there's a notion there, which is also that goes into the realms of metaphysics, philosophy, that there is no nothingness. There is, though, no thing. So when the fields are, imagine the fields as water, as we spoke last time, I think, the water of the ocean. If nothing happens, there is no wind, you see a perfect, the surface, which is very polished, it reflects also, water reflects also. It's so nice that it reflects the environment perfectly, almost, under some perspective, you can see it. But when there's some wind, when there's some excitations, things start to happen. So maybe even the Big Bang, I don't know, I'm not a physicist, I'm just using my imagination as an artist. but imagination is needed, of course. I think that the physicists, they use the imagination to come to theories which they predicted, and after they came to be true after experimentation. Um, so in general, try to combine several states of human condition, like ignorance here, with those things. First of all, if you look at the artwork, you can see that it's created from little dots. So they represent the particles that I say, though the very small, dots that create the physical world, I would say. Then we come to the physical world, or at least the thing that we believe is the physical world. From seeing things, like looking at the artwork, is a physical world, is a physical realm. It's the objective reality, as I say, that we inherit. Of course, I believe that it's still mental. It is mental, but it represents in a physical way something mental, so that we can, with our evolution through natural selection, which from which we have evolved, right? It took billions of years for us to come here, to realize this physical world in this way. So I try to combine. So this work, the first one, the ignorance theory, is about people who try to, sometimes are ignorant of things. It's got a lot of different directions of depth also. Those work, it's not only one direction, and I love when people, sometimes the audience come to me and they say that I see in this is my interpretation of this, and I love when I hear different interpretation, because it opens up my mind. Because I don't believe, as I have said before, that I don't believe that my works are totally me. There are forces uh, who live inside me, who work through me and through everybody, I believe, and they are not us, actually. And what is the actual identity of you and me and everyone? What is us? What is me? It's a very big question, right?
It's like it's your place in the universe question, basically. Yeah,
I don't know if
start
you can
asking
move
that.
the screen, move us to one side of the screen, Stephen. We can run the clip up again.
They won't. Can't. You're in charge. You got to move us to the side.
Okay, well, no, this will come up in the middle. So I'm sorry for everybody. We're now about to lose Adam again. Oh, here we go.
No, we're not. Very cool.
Okay. There are also, looking at it, I also remember other things. For example, it's holding some legs. This
Right.
also has a meaning. All my works have kind of meaning, sometimes hidden, sometimes. Now the question is it his, her legs, or somebody else?
Right.
We don't know. I like this, those kind of perspectives, on things, on reality.
Right.
So I think we
That's
can move to the other one.
Yeah, we've
So
got
this
up
is the
to
first one.
Yeah, and now this is technically Adam 2.
Adam. Yeah,
Very
so
cool.
this is quantum intimacy theory. It's the thing that we were talking about before.
Right.
I have
In
a
a
little
way.
confession to make. I must have played that about 20 times.
Really, you
when I
like
saw
this?
It just fascinated me.
I have to say that the music in this drop is the first time that I implement AI. The music
So this is
are created with AI. with a
You
program. I
create.
don't remember which it is. There
Okay.
are so many programs now. Everybody can go and ask for a clip of 30 seconds that is of style of this, of this, of that. It's everywhere now. It's in
Right.
image generation, it's in video generation, it's in music generation as well.
So you created the music yourself.
AI created. I don't feel that I created the
Okay.
music. So,
You
so
you you AI. You and AI created the
look,
music.
I am not a
Mhm.
musician,
Right.
but
Right.
I can say that I like what I hear, and I can
Right.
put it into, because I tested it, of course.
Right. Right.
I had the
Yeah.
clip that I had, and I put it, and I said, "Oh, it's not the first that I created. The AI created. They asked it to create. It created some, and I chose one
Right.
from those that I think that is most appropriate for this.
Very
And
cool.
but if you ask me, do you feel that you are a musician now that you created this? No, I don't feel I'm a
Right.
musician. I don't feel.
No,
It's like I
that's
borrowed it, you know.
interesting. That's interesting, then, Adam, because uh, you could extend that argument to say, well, you're no longer an artist then if your computer's generating all this stuff.
This is the reason. Look, the music in my work is not the primary thing. The visuals. I'm a
Mhm.
visual artist. But when you create a clip which is an animation and it's played in time, it's really nice to have because we are using the sensations, the if there is music accompanying it and giving it something a little more to it, right? Than totally mute. Sometimes I have muted with no sounds, nothing is playing because I want them to be like this. Sometimes I cooperate with musicians. The previous drop was with my friend Cled Monet. He's a musician, a DJ, and we didn't have time, unfortunately, for this one. Probably we'll do the next one again together because I prefer the human touch, the human mistakes, the thing that I cannot sign the music and say it's mine. So a part
Right.
of it, it's not human, and I cannot understand how people actually just giving prompts saying that I created the image through those image generators, AI image
Right.
generators. I don't feel that I created the music. I asked giving some specific, but I don't think I created it. Creating something of artistic nature is not,
Mhm.
at least it's not on my mind. This thing, when I create artwork, it's a struggle. It's a struggle with myself, with the universe. There are a lot of things happening. So this works. Coming back to this work, this is playing with one of the really crazy stuff in quantum mechanics, the entanglement, which is one of the first things that people who are getting to know quantum mechanics are taught, and they read about it. It's the notion that there is one particle here and another one on the other side of the universe, and we measure the spin of the particle, and those particles go together and they separate, right? And when we measure the particle and it shows that it got spin up, the other particle immediately at the same time, we know that it's got the spin down.
Mhm.
So that means that they are entangled, and this is a very interesting, taking it as a metaphor to human relations. For example, we see here a couple, right? And it was what we were talking about love and about intimacy. It's called quantum intimacy theory. Entanglement is when we are together with somebody, and we were talking about the perfect honesty, like David said. It's this, that you're in a together, you're so together, intertwined, uh, and influence together. It's crazy. So there is this interconnectedness that I, I, I I don't know, it makes me really think that this is a very nice metaphor coming from the microscopic and from science to the human realm and psychology and to the mental stuff, because we said that love and all the things that it accompanies, it's mental. So,
Right.
and also, because Stevens said about telepathy. Some people have telepathy. This is also intimacy for me. You have to be very close to somebody to have telepathy. Really, really close. Now, I believe that there is telepathy. It's not something. It's a rare condition. It's a rare situation that people can be in, but it exists. I believe it exists.
But don't you find
Well,
if you're in a relationship for a long time with people that you kind of know what they're thinking, or you're thinking of something and then they'll mention it just after, or is that just synchronicity? Telepathy or synchronicity? I'll throw that coin into the air.
Synchronicity, by the way, is a very interesting notion by Carl Jung, but I think it's
Yeah.
different than it's very. Maybe sometimes we will talk also about those stuff. We will actually, but anyway, it's all of it. It's all of it. You cannot, when you have a connection with somebody, there are even more things, and I believe also that you explore, like. All of us, we are unique. We explore the existence as human in a specific space and time. We are unique. The before people before us were different. People in front of us will be different. We are standing and explore. We are explorers of the existence. Actually,
we're explorers of now.
yes, we're
Yeah,
explorers
the
of
explorers
now.
of now and the historians of yesterday.
Yeah,
There you go.
we learn from the past, supposedly,
Yeah.
but we don't
Well,
learn from the
I'm going
past, at least in the politics, from what I know,
no,
because if we
no,
would
no.
learn, there would be no wars. But there's
Right.
still wars. So
But I got to tell you,
I want to just play the clip again, guys, and then we'll come back because
Okay.
we haven't
yeah.
had a chance to. Because this is just so good.
And again, because I looked at it again, it's also what Stephen was saying, that we're talking about love again, that we are growing. So
Right.
in this way, if you look, they are creating themselves as a real substance, as existence. So I believe that through connection, through intimacy, you're creating yourself. You're creating identity as well. And because of the notion that we are alone, we feel lonely. There, in the state of intimacy, in the state of togetherness and interconnectedness, you don't feel this loneliness anymore. So you have a new identity. You don't need aliens. You can have your human fellow, which is close to you, that have the same needs that you are, because we are the same thing. Actually, we are unique, but of the same thing. That's what I believe. That's why most of my works, it's not that they are, romantic. It's that I advertise. Let's say, I'm sorry. I'm in Greece and it's warm, so
You're
I'm
good. You're
sweaty a
good.
little. It's really warm today. It's a very hot day, and yes, I believe that love and connection is really important factors in our life, and if we don't fulfill them, money, materials, fame, or whatever else you want will not fill the gap. This is fundamental need of human nature, being with somebody else and discovering yourself and the humanity in general through this connection. That's why I'm portraying it so often. That's why in most of my works there are two persons. They're not always two different persons. Sometimes the two persons are one person, and I portray, I depict two different sides of the person. But not in this
What I
work. In
found,
this work,
what I
it's
found
two
the
different
most,
persons.
what I find most fascinating about it is that you've managed to do on a computer what quite a lot of people are already doing, these optical illusions. And sometimes they're made out of paper, or they're done in such a way that everything's just layered, and as you move around, the object becomes almost solid, and you move away and you can look through it. That's it. But you've managed, for some wonderful reason, to do that on a computer, that as the the art rotates, it dissolves and then molds into one. And yeah, like I say,
there are some
I
parts.
played that quite a lot. So there you go. It's just more about me, I think.
No, it's a very beautiful. All your work is beautiful, and we're lucky enough to see it all. So if someone has the
I'm
opportunity,
happy you like them. It's
I love them. If somebody has the opportunity to buy an NFT or the work, that's perfect.
I have to say also, I forgot that those artworks, they come also with a physical print, a
Okay.
bigger one than it's A1, that is unique.
Oh wow,
It's signed and
A1.
unique. So you get the NFT.
That's cinema posted, isn't it? Size A1.
A1 is 8. I don't remember the exact, but it's about 80 centimeters to 60, I think. It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's not a small
Wow.
one. And it'll
That
be
is big.
unique. There will be no other works of this work on this. So you get two.
Yeah. Can we just, before you go into the ins and outs of the NFTs, we've still got one left over,
Yes.
which I've been very creative and called this one Adam 3.
Wow.
Just
Did you
That
go
will
to
be the
university?
title later.
I know. I mean, genius.
When you took the marketing class at university, this is what they taught you. Is like there's a name and then there's just numbers after it. Is that what we're going with?
Yeah.
He passes me the opportunity so I can speak about the title and the rest.
There you go. See,
look at that.
The fact that you couldn't understand that, Stephen.
I know, because I didn't take marketing, I took finance. Sorry.
He just gives number. It's like without identity, and I put identity also to it. You see.
Right.
He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I trust him.
I studied building, construction, and materials. So.
Oh, really?
That was.
So you're in construction.
That was about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Anyway, we'll go.
Can I tell you? I had some chocolate teapots, and they were wonderful. So.
Okay.
Adam number 3.
Adam number. Very cool. Very, very
cool.
So
this one is called...
I interrupted Stephen. He was still asking you about the NFTs. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to hear what this one's called, and we'll go back to the NFTs.
Okay.
Sorry. So this one is called quantum weight theory. And the weight is a notion of something which is heavy, but in a psychological, the burden. That if you look closely on the work, there are some legs on the shoulders. So I try to explore here the physical and the psychological burden, So I play again with those notions, physical and psychological, which I have to say it's mental for me.
Right.
And it's a notion about, people who have depression, who have anxiety, who have all those not nice things that carry in their lives with them, and try to get along with it, try to solve it, like we try to solve those notions of quantum mechanics. We haven't understood it quite well yet. We haven't understood science. We don't understand everything, of course.
Right.
If we did, we would be the gods that we were saying before. Maybe now that I'm thinking about, maybe that's the plan. That
to become
intelligence slowly is trying to become itself the god. And then again, and again, it's like a game. Maybe it has happened infinite times, and it's happening, through in different planets, in different conditions, in different states, in different everything. I don't know. That's just a thought.
I like that.
That's not a thought. That's like
because we are constantly evolving. We are becoming more aware, and we have more knowledge about the the environment and about ourselves, right?
Right.
We know more than our grandfathers or ancient Greeks or people even before.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, wait, before we go, because we're going to get close to that time where we have to go. So tell us about the NFT drop that's tomorrow. So the people that are watching this live or the people that will be watching this later can be like, oh, cool. So tell us about the NFT drop and where they can buy it. And it's going to be poly digital, which means you get the NFT as well as the physical. So,
Yeah. So the drop will be tomorrow. I don't
mhm.
remember the time actually, but it's on a platform called Maker's Place.
Okay.
I don't know if we can put a link later, but we can put a
We'll
link.
put the link. We'll put the link below.
But if anyone who's listening here, it's very easy to find me on social media. So you can find me on Instagram, on Twitter, on everywhere. I have the links there. Or if you put Adam Martinakis Maker's Place, you will find it. It's very
Right.
easy. If you want to find it, you'll find it.
You're fine. Right.
So it's this drop is tomorrow. It's for 24 hours.
Okay.
It's got a price that it starts. It's 1.5 Ethereum. So this is
Okay.
about, I don't know how it stands now, but I think it's about 2.3 or $4,000. But it
Okay.
comes with a physical also. So I think it's a good price.
Hmm.
And they are unique.
Yeah.
There are unique pieces, the NFT and the physical.
Yep.
And yeah, that's you can go to the site and read more about it, more the story about each work.
Right.
Maybe better implemented than I have talked here because
No,
we
this is
speak.
better. This is better. It's
Okay,
the bigger
Yeah.
picture. It's thought.
The only
right,
difference will be, of course, it won't say Adam 1, 2, or 3. That'll be
Right.
the only
Right.
difference.
and that is a big
But
loss, I think.
yeah, tell me
Because
about it.
probably I should from now you're making changes to me, are altering my state as an artist, and maybe from now I will say Adam work 1, Adam work 3.
There you
there are
go.
there are artists who title their work like this: 1, 2,
Yeah,
3, 300
Yep.
something.
yeah,
So this is
yeah.
this is the
We have an artist in Antwerp, and he started numbering the stuff that he does on our show. He's just called it whatever the show number is the name of the painting. Yeah,
And
because
one
I can
behind
imagine
me,
that.
right there, is number 95. That's the work. This one's called number 95 because you did it on our
Yeah,
show. It was the 95th show. And today, just so you
yeah,
know, this is the 196th show. So there you go.
really.
All right, so if you do a
yeah,
painting today, you title it 196, and there you have it.
Ah,
So,
it's very
yeah.
nice.
But I can understand why people at a certain point of time you kind of run out of things of calling it.
right.
It's like, so numbering is probably the easiest thing to do. But then again, people say, "Oh, you're not very creative, are you?" It's called work number 1. But I mean, like,
Well,
yeah,
you know something, for me, the titles play an important role because my artworks have a meaning behind. It's not just eye candy. All of them. Well, okay, maybe there are some that I just played and only with intuition, but even I find myself that sometimes that I have said that you're not going to do something with a specific theme. You just play like a
Yeah.
child, and still the artwork that comes out has kind of a meaning, or at least I find the meaning in it. Maybe it's my mind that is creating the meaning. Maybe we need, which is true, our minds like to find the meanings. They have to know what's going on around. They have to
Right.
conceptualize everything.
but
So it's
is that a message that you want to convey to your buyers then? That when the buyer has that, and somebody says, "Well, why did you buy it?" Well, apart from the fact that A, that it's beautiful, and B, that Adam did it, but that they also have a story to go with it to talk about it.
uh, I didn't understand the question actually, but
Oh, well, I mean,
in simple terms,
because
simple
in
terms.
simple terms, in simple terms, right? If you we used to call it in sales like the birthday prompt, because you'd give something to somebody and you tell them all about it. And then when they tried to say, "Oh, that's nice," and immediately they had a story to tell the next person about that particular object. So it added Not it added value to them because they had a story, but it also added value
No, no, no,
to the
no.
person who
I
was
don't see
interested.
art this way. I see art as a necessity for me to. I cannot do something else. I'm an artist. My role in this life is to express my point of view through introspection, through reading, through philosophy, for everything that interests me. This is this. I feel that this is my role here.
Right.
And I do it through, other are doing it through language. They write stories, and they put their imagination, their questions about life, like about existence, into words. I put it into shapes, colors, movements, and stuff like this. I'm very honest with my work. I'm okay to if somebody tells me I don't like your work, and they've heard it, and it's okay. It's probably a very honest thing, to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Normally, I hear all the time, "Ah, it's very nice, it's very nice, it's very nice." Okay, but I prefer when somebody says to me, "What did you mean here? What is your objective here? Why did you do it?" Or stuff like that, because it's a beginning of a dialogue. I don't think actually that the artworks or whatever we do in life is really that important. People are projecting what they do as very important because they would try to sell it. Well, I don't think that it's really important. What is important is the existence itself, that you exist. And through your existence, you're going to do something, maybe even in sleeping. And you're dreaming all the time, like I said that my mother was doing. She the last 8 years, because she died recently, she was sleeping. She was sleeping all the time. So probably she was in a different. She didn't like the reality anymore of this reality. So she preferred the reality of dreams, of sleep, etc. It's up to person to decide.
Mm.
Here we come also to the big question: if there is free will. That is a big question that we can also talk in another episode, which is really, really important question. Do we have free will or
And then
no?
what is free will if you do or don't have
Yeah,
it?
because look,
Right.
the question goes always to the when I meet somebody who is religious, like believing in Christianity, example,
Right.
so that they ask him the simple question that, so there is God. Is this God? He knows everything, right? Yes. So he knows what you will do. So if I am a killer in the future,
Right.
I'm a criminal, he knows that I will be. Why doesn't he stop me?
And that
You
goes
Yeah,
back
understand
because
the
to,
that's
question?
the but that's the ultimate definition of love, isn't it? Freedom.
but the other thing is it goes back to what we
Yeah,
just
So
said.
but he knows what I will do. He knows
yeah,
Right.
for sure that I will kill.
But
What
that goes
what
back to one of
freedom? What freedom if he knows it? There's no
but that
freedom.
goes
It's
but that goes back to
predestined.
but that goes back to that other show we spoke about, the absolute. Like we're all connected, right? And when you pass here, you go back from your experience. So if whatever the god or gods are, so to speak, so they know you're going to do it, or they don't know because you have free will. But after you do it, then whatever you killed then just goes back to the absolute and comes back with its, its shared knowledge and whatnot. So it's, as it's energy, it never dies technically, I guess. So I think that's kind of where you're at. It's like I always go back to what I say. Even if there's aliens, I still want to know where zero is, because the aliens are going to be one, two, three, four. We're somewhere six, seven, eight. I want to go back to here, the very,
There is
very
no
beginning.
zero. There is no
I
zero,
know.
David. It's what I was saying before about the quantum fields. There
Right.
is no nothingness.
Yes.
There is no thing. There's no
Right.
particles.
Yep.
But when they excite, there are.
Right.
They pop up like this. We are undeveloped. We are we are still monkeys with smartphones. I still say it, and I will remain. This will remain. Later will be. No, we're now entering a phase that we are monkeys with AI.
Right.
That's why we can kill ourselves, because we are
Right.
still monkeys. If we were aliens, developed, very
Right.
developed, and probably if we developed very much, we will become aliens going somewhere else, maybe,
Correct.
but not as a physicality as we are now, because we are product of this planet, of this beautiful planet, Mother Earth,
Right.
that provides us oxygen, trees, love, and everything, all of that things, that so that we can live, that we can speak about everything, we can enjoy everything. and we should appreciate it more. We should love
Yes.
more. We should love the environment more. We should love other people more. And we should love money and material less.
Hmm.
It's needed. It's a tool, but it's not the goal itself.
Right.
It's what I was saying before. Nothing that we do in this life from our actions is important. Nothing.
Right.
We are important by ourselves. The entity, the existence is important.
Mhm.
Not I am the most clever person, I'm most politician, or
No, I agree. And with that, we're going to leave everybody on that note. Thank you so much for the live show. The next live show for people that are watching it either live or the people that are going to watch it as a rebroadcast will be July 10th. So it's 3 weeks away, July 10th. I think we have a special guest coming, possibly.
Yes.
We're going to check.
Yes.
But that'll be fun. So yes, and we will discuss this and many more things. So we want to thank everybody that's watched it live and thank everybody that's watching it on the rebroadcast. And of course, we always want to thank Adam. And then that's it. We'll see everybody
Thanks,
in 3
Adam.
weeks.
Yeah, and just remember, Adam, money doesn't make you happy, but it makes being miserable a lot easier.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. I don't diminish the importance of money.
Don't forget to subscribe and like, everybody.
Is this music AI?
And it's David. Is this music AI?
No,